like to call the February Maumelle Civil Service Commission meeting to order. Got several things, a little updates I want to start off with. First thing, welcome Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, sir.
This is his first meeting as a commissioner, and it was a task to get here.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna give y'all an update on Commissioner Wells. Of course, he lives 2 doors down from me, so his wife Christy texted us yesterday and said, "Hey, y'all come down, we'll eat supper, watch Super Bowl." So I've been back and forth seeing him some, but he's still laid up. But he's got these knee flexors that they put under his legs, where he doesn't have to do anything, and it flexes that knee. And it started off, I think he told me 27 degrees, and then as he regained strength, and I think now it's like 90 degrees. But it's the first time I've seen him out of bed since this started. Fortunately, he's got a brother who is every bit as big as John, who is a physical trainer by profession. And Christy was worried to death how she was going to handle things if John tried to get up and fell, because she couldn't handle it. Well, thank goodness brother has been there the whole time. He's just basically living with us, and living with them, and it's a good thing. John does see his doctor in 2 weeks, and I think at that point, that's 6 weeks, I believe. So he's still having to wear braces when he gets up. And that may continue for a while, I'm not sure. And I've already told him, your balance is going to be all messed up when you finally get up, because you've lost leg strength. You can see it, his legs withered away. I said, our next important date, if you can be here, is a month out. So I'm hoping that he will be at least well enough to even if he has to use a walker to get in here, and I can drive him, so it's not a big deal. But it's been a long ordeal, and thank goodness for brother. But after somebody's living with you for a month, you kind of get ready for them to go too, no matter how much good they're doing for you. But anyway, he's. I think the hardest part about this is there's nothing he can do about the knee. The knee's going to take care of itself. It's right up here. And I'm sure he's had some struggles with that, just like anybody else would. But he seems to be doing well. He's got a physical therapist that's coming to see him, I think once a week. And, John was already in good shape when he worked out. And the physical therapist told him, you definitely see people recover from this who are like you more than you would see someone who didn't exercise. So he's hearing good things. So, but I know he's ready for this little ordeal to be over, and hopefully in a couple of weeks he'll get some good news from the doctor, and he'll at least start getting to be a little bit more independent. It's hard to give up independence. That's tough. All right, we're about to get busy. Busy time of our year coming up, and then we've got something additional on top of that. Just a reminder, orals, our first go around on March 13th for our police department, and March 16th for our fire department. And then for March 31st, everybody knows we have the Lieutenant Poole's appeal in this room starting at 1 o'clock that day. So we're finally going to start down that road. All right.
Did you say 13th and 16th?
13th and 16th. Yeah, 13th for police and 16th for fire. And that's just a 6 o'clock meeting, just like this one is. It's not like the appeal, trying to take your afternoon away or something. Right. Okay, we are going to have to go back and approve the December minutes because we did not have a January meeting. So you should have a copy of those, and if so, I will entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? I'll second it. Yeah, second. Any
I'll go back and vote, but I'll second.
Yeah, you can vote. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, under new business, understand we have an update on the fire department's eligibility testing from Chief Buford and our HR director.
Go ahead, Chief.
So, just one, on the eligibility list, we have hired one person, made an offer of hire for one person, and we're continually looking. We have 4 other openings right now. So we're going through the process with the other candidates right now. That's about it on that. That's where we are right now. We have 5 people left on the list, I believe, after we've made the one. So we may exhaust the list. We may not. We're not exactly quite sure just yet as far as that goes, but that's where we are right now.
We can always start the process again if we need to.
More than likely, we're probably going to end up having to do another test. Maybe not right away, but probably before the year's over, for sure. Yes.
All right.
Chief, would you like to talk about the promotions? I'll let you do that.
Oh, yes. Also, I'm sorry,
No
got
worries.
sidetracked. So on Wednesday, we actually have a promotional ceremony at 2 o'clock at the community center, and so the temporary promotions we had, Lieutenant Pitchford is being promoted to captain, and Firefighter Fulton is being promoted to lieutenant. Those were the ones that were in the temporary status for almost a year. We went ahead and made those a permanent status change. And then also 2 of the 3 new lieutenant positions we got from City Council will be promoted also. And we would have done the 3rd, but we don't have a 3rd candidate. We're actually going to exhaust the list. So this new promotional list will have a lieutenant that's going to come off of it.
What time did you say that was?
It's at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yes. Would love to have everybody
In the
attend.
South Run, probably?
And yes,
Okay.
yes.
And just to clarify, if I may, the City Council approved the 2023 budget for new headcount for both police and fire. And I believe it's 3 new positions for entry police and 3 for entry fire. And Corey's shaking his head. Chief, 2, 3, 4? You got 2.
We get to- yes.
Aww. So let the record reflect 2 for the police department and 3 for the fire department.
Yes. Very excited. It's going to help us out tremendously. Yes. And it also is, maybe it'll give extra motivation for the folks on this promotional list because they know there's a promotion hanging out there. So hopefully they'll be studying and be ready. But that's it. If there's not any questions.
No, sir, not for me.
Thank you.
This is not on the agenda. I keep meaning to bring it up with you. We had to make a decision a few months ago about how, we say someone has to be in a position X amount of time before they can be promoted to their next position. The problem is we don't define where that cutoff is. Do they have to be, because our testing is not one date, it's multiple dates. So do they have to have that experience before the testing ever starts? Do they have to have that experience by the time, or that time served by the time the process ends? And we made an executive decision and allowed it. Now, my thought was, and this was someone who was going to hit that milestone during the testing process. My thought on that was, in a small department like we have, departments, I want to offer them every opportunity to move up as quickly as they're ready, but that's going to be up to y'all and us to determine who's ready and who's not. Any thoughts on, we have not formally changed that in our rules, but I'm thinking about bringing that.
In practice, from what I understand, we look at the initial start of the testing phase as that hard date. If the commission is inclined to move that to by the completion of the testing dates, I do not see a problem with that. But I think in past, instances, that's what we have done, is use the initial testing, say the written exam, as that hard date. You have to have that time before.
Wherever you set it, you know, somebody's gonna say, but what about the next day? So there's no perfect way to do it, but we don't really delineate the definition of that.
I remember one case, and I don't remember who was on the commission. But we had a case that falls just exactly like you were talking about. He was not eligible, the candidate wasn't, at the written test day. He would have been eligible by the time the list would have been certified. And so his question was, since I will actually be eligible, you won't have to wait or pass off anything. I will be eligible on the date of certification. May I test? And the Civil Service Commission let him test.
Okay. Chief, any thoughts?
I don't have a problem with it. It was, I've seen it both ways, and we had in North Little Rock, we had a test that we hadn't given in 10 years, and the written test was the hard date, and one person missed it by 1 day.
Jeez.
And so that particular test may not come around again for another 10 years.
That's tough.
So I would not be opposed to that as well. I don't see a problem with it.
Any other discussion?
I know when we were making rule changes, I thought we discussed that.
I don't think
No, I don't
we did.
think we did.
And I don't know how it got by us, but
Well,
it
then
did.
how do I know about it?
I don't know.
Cause I
Maybe you've
remember
been
we
in a
talked
similar
about it.
situation in your career.
Maybe.
Possible. I don't know. I'm not
This-
gonna worry.
This list we get from HR for the exam dates, it has in bold red letters, the closing date of eligibility for promotion to the ranks is December 31st, 2022. Does that mean they have to be eligible by December 31st?
Well, that's actually what we were discussing, because it's actually contradictory in our civil service rules and regs. And I was looking for it, I thought I had highlighted it, but I will, get the page numbers for you, where it says how the eligibility should count. I just don't have it marked right now, and I don't
And
think I
this
can.
is not critical right now.
No.
We've got a big schedule of stuff to do. I'm not gonna worry about this until we get done with the biggie stuff coming, at us, next month. But I just wanna throw that food for thought out there and let y'all think about it, and, certainly not, we haven't advertised for a rule change, for starters, and, I didn't intend to try to bring it to a vote or anything tonight, but just throwing it out there, so y'all think about it. You ready to proceed?
Yep, I was going to give you all an update on our entry police officer exams that we conducted a couple of Saturdays ago. We had 15 candidates show up. 9 of them passed, and they're currently going through their physical ability test and going through background now.
How many total openings do you have now, including the 2 new ones?
We currently have 7 openings, and then depending upon the appeal, we have the possibility of still having 8. So we will more than
We need some
likely
people.
be coming back for a second test, but we've also discussed those individuals who failed to show for the initial test, we're contacting them to find out why they didn't. And I think in one case, it was someone who went on military orders and was unable to test.
That's a good reason.
So we'll see if we can make exceptions for that, and if they want to test, bring them back.
Okay.
Yeah, the ordeal in Memphis didn't help us, I don't think. The timing of that was pretty bad.
No, and I'm no expert on police, but when you lower your standards, Memphis happens. And apparently that's what happened over there. A bunch of those guys were hired, and I know it's tough. I mean, it's hard to get people, and you want enough people, but the question becomes, is it better to have nobody out there or the wrong people out there? And, you know, you can get burned either way on that. Yeah, that's pretty tough, and seems to be getting bigger every time you look at it.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else before we go into executive session to formulate questions, promotion questions? Then I will entertain a motion to enter executive session.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, any opposed, no, motion carries.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, sir. And I'll text you when we get done.
night.
Thanks, sir.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Harrington.
Yeah, before you leave, yeah, we had a question.
Hold on a second, let me make sure I've got the recording.
I just, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be sitting funny. I've got back issues and may even stand up, but I'm not showing disinterest.
Okay.
I'm in that area where I gotta find it, and it feels better when I find it.
Gotcha. We have returned to public session. We did have a question, and you've answered this for me before, and I still get confused. The difference between a battalion chief and a division chief.
They are one and the same, actually. So we have our division chiefs, can be either a battalion chief, right, over operations. It can be the fire marshal and a division chief over training. So we've got 2 battalions. We've got Chief Eaton over fire marshals, and we have Chief Cossey over training. So they're all they're all the same. They're all division chiefs,
Yeah.
but for practical purposes,
Shift, 3 battalion chiefs, 1 for each shift.
is it 3? 3,
Yeah.
2, yeah, 2 or 3, 3. You guys are like really challenging me tonight. It's been a long day.
Well, at least you
We
haven't been.
need to have 9 o'clock meeting in the morning.
that would suit me a whole lot better. Well, maybe 9:30.
Okay.
Anything additional anybody's got?
Yeah, you're okay.
Commissioner Williams, I think you had mentioned, for the appeal hearing coming up, for Lieutenant Poole's appeal hearing, you'd mentioned you thought you might have to recuse.
My thinking was, and you guided me here, is either side wanted me to, I would.
Okay. Would it be a terrible imposition to have you come to the hearing so that we can have them make that request on the record?
No, but that follows up with what I was gonna ask you after the session, and I'll ask you now. Would it be permissible if I recuse, can I sit in and listen?
Yeah, it's a public hearing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
You just can't ask questions or participate in the discussion.
Right.
Yeah, but you can stay.
Can he sit in that chair?
I don't think that would be a good idea. Do you?
As long as you don't participate in the discussion or the questioning or the voting, the last time it came up at a city council meeting, when your wife was seated here, she just sat there and just
Yeah.
waited for the,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I'll do whatever you think's best.
The only
Certainly I
thing
won't
I'm
participate.
thinking of though is if memory serves, the last time we did, an appeal, the witnesses all sat in the exact same chair you're sitting in, and if you're sitting right next to them, I don't know about that.
No, I don't wanna do that.
okay.
I don't wanna even
Yeah.
hint that there would be
Yeah.
an intimidation factor.
But you're certainly free to say it, because it's a public hearing, if you choose to stay and watch and see what happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Would that be bad form, do you
No.
think?
I don't think so.
Well, I'd like to sit through it if I may, and certainly I'll be here, and then they want me to recuse, I get it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, the city might want me to.
I don't know. But I just prefer to let them make that request on the
Yes, sir.
record.
Sure.
Because although we expect them to, we don't know for sure whether they will.
Right, okay.
That's the only thing I had.
All right. Anybody have anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Always wanted to do that with the city council.
Yeah, I want to do that a bunch of times to the council. Do I hear a motion?
So,
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries.
thank y'all for putting up with the new guy.